Okay, friends out there in music land. Now, this particular subject isn't one that I'm looking forward to. This is not a subject that I don't really want to cover, but I'm going to cover it because music is my passion, and I want things to be truthful and come from my heart. And remember, this is in my own opinion. But remember, I've been listening to music for over 50 years, all genres, all styles of music. I have, some of us have ears for music, so we don't follow the media mainstream. We dig deep into every artist. We listen to every song. This subject is on who are some of the most overrated bands of all times. These are bands that the media played their songs. They were not even deserving to be in the elite groups that I claim to be the greatest rock bands of all times. This overrated band was way overrated. They don't even deserve to be in the. They don't even deserve to be in rock and roll. They played them when I was a kid. They played them on rock stations, and I'm like, this ain't even rock and roll. Especially a couple songs, which I'll get into a little later. Don't get me wrong. They had some good songs. But overall, the popularity they received from the media, from the critics, from the reviews, the popularity they got, the airtime. I was amazed at the airtime that this supposedly rock band, classic rock band, you want to call them, the airtime. I marveled at it, especially when I heard this one song. Don't even, to me, it didn't even count as rock. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was not rock. So it shows that the radio stations, their partiality to not play the most underrated bands of all times, but to play this band was a disgrace and a disgust. This band, which I feel was way, way overrated, was the Kinks. Now, when I heard Lola on classic rock radio stations, not even close. The Kinks don't even deserve the recognition that they got. They, like I said, I didn't want to do this, but my heart for my music. The Kinks were way overrated, did not deserve the success that they got. Now, don't get me wrong, some songs were good. Celluloid Heroes was a good song. Superman was okay. Rock and Roll Fantasy, I believe the song was called, was a good song. The one he spends his life living in a rock and roll fantasy, that was a good song. But a lot of it was crap. A lot of it was no good. Not even deserving of the popularity that they received. A lot of the songs weren't even rock to me. They played them on rock stations, but I'm sorry. It is what it is. I am who I am. And one of the most overrated rock bands of all times was the Kinks. They did not deserve the status they received. Some of you are going to believe me and support me, and of course some of you are not. Like I said, this is in my opinion, but I have listened to music for over 50 years. I've listened to all styles of music as I am to this day. But I must also take the good with the bad. We must take the good with the bad. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked at some of the bands that I call overrated. Now, when I say overrated, I'm not saying they weren't good. What I'm saying is they weren't good enough to receive the recognition they received. Now, whether they had good managers, good agents, they did something right. Was it the style of music? Was it the timing? Probably. But all I'm saying is some of these bands that I'm going to mention, they were good. They weren't really bad. But when you weigh the balance of underrated bands and these bands, not even close. As check out some of my most underrated bands of all times. But the Kinks, way overrated. I do, like I said, there was a couple songs I did like. So I'm not saying they weren't like had any good songs, but I just marveled at what they played on classic rock radio stations back in the day. Lola? Really? Lola? You call that a rock song? Come on, people. So, one of the most overrated bands of all times is the Kinks. And, hey, I'm open to suggestions. Okay, another overrated band. I'm not gonna hear the end of this one, but I'm gonna put it out there. Remember, I'm not saying they're overrated because I didn't like them. I didn't like them as a band. It's nothing personal. This is my own opinion. They got way too much recognition than what they deserved. So please understand this. I've listened to underrated bands. I've listened to bands you never even heard of before. They blow them away. These bands got too much recognition. They must have had a great agent. They must have had a great whatever manager. They got on the radios. They were very popular. But I'm going to get a lot of heat for this one. Probably more heat for this one than maybe the next one, but another very, very overrated band. Now, don't forget, some of their songs were good. I liked them. But did they really, were they consistent? Was the music that great? Did it really, like, knock me off my socks? Did it make me feel emotions? Did it make me want to, when I'm driving down my car, listen to all these songs? Did it... No, they didn't do a lot for me. And here it is. Another very, very overrated band was Guns N' Roses. Didn't do nothing for me. I listened to all their songs. I listened to every one of their albums. Guns N' Roses was overrated. Not even close. Sweet Child of Mine and Paradise City and some of the other songs were okay, but then I listened to Civil War and I'm like, they didn't do nothing for me. I listened to every song by Guns N' Roses, and Guns N' Roses, for the amount of November Rain, for the amount of publicity they got back in the, I guess they came out around 1990, was it? But I listened to every song. For the amount of publicity that Guns N' Roses got, I didn't care for their music. They just didn't, I didn't feel it. You know how you feel music lovers? I don't care if you bash me about it, but prove me wrong. I mean, well, record sales, yeah, but like I said in my other videos, it's not about record sales. The media, the radio stations, a good manager, they can put whoever they want on a pedestal. They can put whoever they want in the limelight, brainwash the masses into believing that this is an awesome group. But yes, Guns N' Roses, yes, Axl Rose / another very, very overrated band. But don't get me wrong. They had some good songs. Woo! I'm feeling the heat for that one. Okay. If I survive the the Kinks and Guns N' Roses as being one of the most overrated bands of all times. Here's another one. Now, please understand. Please understand. This is based on the recognition that they received compared to every song that they ever played. This band stole music. This band's last album was bunk. This band did not deserve the recognition that they received. This band was overrated. Now, please understand this. This band was okay. There are some songs that I really liked and I really enjoyed. But compared to the masses that followed them, compared to the popularity, compared to the TV shows, this band was overrated. This band is Led Zeppelin. Now, please, the reason why I say Led Zeppelin was overrated was they stole a lot of music from Muddy Waters, you name it, but still, and they came in at the right time. They came in at a time when it's always America, when America was looking for a new style of music. I don't know what you called this style, medieval, fairy tale music, but they didn't show me nothing. Sure, I liked some of their songs. I liked the Rain song. The Rain song was very beautiful. Kashmir, the Immigrant Song, Rock and Roll. The Rover was a good song, but overall, the recognition they deserved. When their last album came out in the evening, I'm like, this sucks. Led Zeppelin was way overrated. You can argue with me all you want, but the only reason why you're going to argue with me is because your little mind isn't understanding who's out there in music. You don't spend the time listening to bands that you never heard before that blew them away. Check out my most underrated bands of all times. It's still a long ways to go, but I'm a work in progress here. So, like Fastway and UFO and the Runaways and Montrose. That's rock and roll. So, yes, Led Zeppelin along with the Kinks, Led Zeppelin along with Guns N' Roses. So see, I'm not partial to British bands. I'm not partial to American bands. I will attack Canadian bands. I'm telling you, I only attack Canadian. I'm not Canadian, but I only attack bands that I feel are overrated. So, like I says, I'm not gonna say anything about any bands right now. We're sticking to Led Zeppelin. Was overrated. Way overrated. Not even in the category of some of the underrated bands of all times. Come on, music lovers. Talk to me. Seriously. Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven. When I listen to that today, it still sounds okay. It's still a good song. It brings back memories of my childhood youth. But for the amount of publicity it received, while there were bands out there in the 70s that I didn't even know about that blew Led Zeppelin away. So sure, Led Zeppelin, it's all about the timing. It's all about the masses. It's all about the media. It's all about their manager. They probably had a great manager who had connections. They had a good agent. But the bottom line is this. Led Zeppelin was overrated. No doubt. So, sorry about that, but it's nothing personal. But I've listened to music for over 50 years. It's all in my head. Like I said, it's not that Led Zeppelin was bad. Led Zeppelin had some very good songs. But were they as good as publicity put them out to be? No, not even close. I could tell you a band right now that would blow their asses away, and they weren't even popular. But I'm not going to go there. Yeah, I'll say it. Foghat. Foghat. Remember Foghat? Remember Grand Funk Railroad? Now there's some good rock and roll. So those are just examples. You got to spend the time and listen to music to understand. Does it make you drive your car with emotion? Does it make you have a glass of wine with emotion? Do you listen to it when you're angry? Do you listen to it when you're sad? Do you listen to it when you're happy? Do you listen to it when you want to make love to your wife? You know? Think on these things. Don't follow the masses. So, anyways, so far we got 3. The Kinks, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, some of the most overrated bands of all times.